The Coach Curl podcast is brought to you by Think and Grow Business, the home of the Think and Grow Business Mastermind. If you're serious about growing your business, get serious and join a mastermind group today. Find out more at thinkandgrowbusiness.com.au.
Hey there, it's Coach Curl here, and welcome to episode 138 of the Coach Curl podcast. Today we're talking LinkedIn, and what the hell does tattoos have to do with anything? Well, you'll soon find out.
Way to go, guys. Way to go. Keep it going. Good job, guys. All right, Paul, I see you. Good job, Coach Curl. Great job, guys.
Coach Curl, we love you!
Hey there, it's Coach Curl here, and welcome to episode 138 of the Coach Curl podcast. Today I'm talking about tattoos, and more specifically, the power of LinkedIn. And I'm sure that you're probably thinking right now, how are those two aligned? How are those two attached? How are those two complementary to each other? I've got a really interesting story to tell, because it was something interesting that happened to me, and it showed me the power of getting it right. And it shows the power of the niche. It shows the power of people that may feel marginalized, and it shows the power of LinkedIn. Now, I'm not here to sell you anything, all right? I'm just here to pass on an observation. Now, I've been investing a lot more of my time in the social media world, in LinkedIn, as a strategy for my own business growth. Now, LinkedIn is a professional social media platform, and it's the platform where people go to interact with professional people, businesses, etc., etc. There's a whole range of influencers. There's a whole range of people that are doing really well out of LinkedIn. They contact people. They make business out of this professional network. And I've really been focusing my own personal business social media around the concept of adding value in comments on posts and in some groups. So I've really been conscious of adding a very authentic commentary in and around something that I either agreed with or had an alternate point of view. And I did so with, I suppose, my own way of stating things. And I just want to share something that happened last week. On September 12th, I posted a comment on the LinkedIn Daily Rundown. Now, the Daily Rundown is like a summary of news that people were talking about for the day, right? Or the day coming up. And it was really interesting because this particular Daily Rundown, I actually posted 2 comments because there was 2 separate articles that caught my eye, and I wanted to make a comment about each one specifically. Now, one article was about Australian hotels that were offering up their lobby space as a free co-working space. And the article was around that concept and the way that it was potentially going to disrupt that co-working behemoth WeWork. And so hotels were looking to utilise their unused foyer space and use them as free co-working space. And having the payoff that obviously people going in there to work would then utilise themselves of the coffee or lunches, etc., etc. Now, when I was last in the US in November of last year, I actually had planned to meet a client there in the Flatiron district and in a hotel there, and he was staying there. He was down from Boston for a couple of days for business, and we arranged to catch up. And the hotel that he chose, the hotel lobby, the ground floor was just packed with people on laptops, and there wasn't a space to be found. You know, I was there with my wife Sharon, and we were catching up with Jonesy, and we couldn't stay at that hub, and we couldn't sit at that particular hotel because it was just packed with co-workers. And so we ultimately had to go somewhere else. So the comment that I made was based around that observation, that what I had seen and what I had experienced in the States. And while acknowledging the economics of having that packed foyer and the fact that most of them, I would imagine, would be partaking in some sort of food and beverage. So it was a comment that I thought was well considered and well thought out, and just giving a personal observation. And in response, it got no love. It just got nothing. It got, I think, maybe 3 likes it might have had now, one of which was mine. Simply no comments. Now, I don't make a comment to get comments. I don't necessarily go out there with a view to try and impose engagement on people or to say something that's going to provoke some level of response. I make a comment if I think it's going to add value. And in this case, the value that I thought I had added wasn't necessarily being reciprocated by the people that had seen the comment, and that's fine, right? But one of the other studies in the Daily Rundown that caught my eye was a study that had been done on tattoos in the workplace. And this is what the summary of the article said, right? Your colleagues with ink could be more likely to act on impulse or make reckless decisions, a new study suggests. The McMaster University study on tattoos at work looked into the rationale behind individuals wanting to affix a visible stigma, in inverted brackets, given that some employers have a bias against body art. From an economic perspective, this decision to have a tattoo is puzzling, economist and lead researcher Bradley Ruffle claims. Still, the so-called stigma has not concerned the 1 in 5 Australians who have a tattoo. And then, so that was the summary. So I was quite perplexed and bemused by that particular summary. So I read up a little bit more, and then I made a comment. And once again, I just shared my observation. And the reality for myself is that I have tattoos, and a lot of thought went into my tattoos. And I know a lot of people who have tattoos, and the same. They've invested time and thought into what that was going to look like. So again, it was simply I shared an observation. The observation that I shared was that many of the people I know with tattoos have invested time and thought into the meaning of the tattoo. Reckless isn't a word I would use to describe someone with a permanent decoration. Once again, I thought I would add value, a slightly contradictory statement to what was being put ahead in the article. Now, first up, it got a couple of likes, and a couple of people commented and basically agreed with what I'd said. Then I got a notification from LinkedIn that my comment had become a spotlight on that particular article. And so along the way, I'm interacting with people, I'm engaging with people, I'm thanking them for their further insights, even when their thoughts were, their commentary was slightly different. It can be a little bit busy until it become a little bit too much. Now, at the time of putting this down, that comment had over 1,800 likes, and last time I checked, over 180 people had replied to that comment. Now, interestingly, I even had a comment left by the researcher, the lead researcher, Bradley Ruffle, had made a comment in relation to my comment. So it was really quite, in terms of what my content is on LinkedIn, that went viral. Now, I know a lot of other people are probably saying 1,800 likes, that's not viral. Well, that's based on what I share and what I see and what I feel in LinkedIn. I think that this has just completely gone against the grain of what what I normally see in terms of engagement. Now, I would say 98% of the commentary shared or supported my view and observation in some way, shape or form. And only a small minority sort of rallied against that. And that was more in line with, employers have the right to be able to, assert standards in the way that their people are viewed. And, that's something that I don't necessarily not agree with. It's actually something that I agree with. Now, as I said, I tried to engage as much as possible until it just became too much. So, now, all of which I found utterly bewildering. What was it about that particular comment that exploded in terms of commentary? Now, it obviously mirrored a lot of thoughts that are out there. 1 in 5 Australians now have a tattoo, now have some level of permanent decoration on their skin. So it obviously mirrored a lot of thoughts that we have in the general population. It obviously touched people who saw the research as just another reason for people with tats to be discriminated against. And what was a fairly common thread is the quality of the person that people kept talking about. You've got to there's a person behind the ink. Under the ink, there's a person. And for companies that see the ink and not the person, well, that's such a great shame that they don't look past the ink. They don't look past the tattoo. And during this is still going today. So this is like 6 days after, and it's still getting likes. It's still getting commentary. And during the course of the last week, I've shared more the stories around my tats, the fact that I actually was ignored by a personal development company here in Brisbane because I've got a visible tattoo. So ultimately I started to share a little bit more. So it really highlighted the power of the niche, the power of the marginalised, and because of the absolute commentary around, so many people I know have invested time and thought into their tattoos. Obviously, a lot of people resonated with that. But what was also interesting, and this is where the power of LinkedIn really kicked in. So if you're in business and if you're in any sort of career aspirational mode, listen to this bit, right? So what I saw from the concept of people viewing your profile, my profile views went up over 2,000%. Unbelievable. So 2,000% of people viewing my profile for the week. That's phenomenal. That's phenomenal. Over one comment. Now, also, the amount of people that followed me during the week was incredible. So these are when people can follow you on LinkedIn without necessarily connecting with you. So I don't know why they do that, but people can do that. But my connection requests increased 200% over the course of the week for one comment. And the exciting thing about the connection request was that there were so many people in my target market, that HR market, that market of people wanting to be better and grow themselves. And, I had messages coming through. It kept me busy for a while, that one particular comment. So one comment that was relevant, that touched and resonated with people, created engagement. I engaged back. And all of a sudden, the result was that my connection requests increased. I increased exposure into my target market, and profile views went up 2,000%, which, you can't not sneeze at. So there's some real stories here, because many people get confused by social media. Many people get confused about LinkedIn in particular. How do I make LinkedIn work? And there's a lot of people making a lot of money teaching people how to make LinkedIn work. And I guess LinkedIn is like your website, which is like your Facebook page, which is like, your Twitter feed. The key is to get people engaged in what it is that you're saying or sharing. And when you can engage people, that's when results start to happen. So posting what I thought was an innocuous, innocent and authentic comment, and then creating that engagement with those initial responders, those initial engagers, it created this amazing result for me on a platform that I had intentionally been investing my time. So it was a niche field. It was obviously, the comment resonated with so many people. And to think that the researchers themselves actually engaged with my commentary was fantastic. So, all up, it was a real win. So what can you take away from that? Exactly what I was just saying. The whole point of social media, it's not actually about you. It's about your audience. It is about engaging with stuff that they believe, that they want to see, hear, and value. And then it's about engaging back when they engage. So it's a connection. It's a conversation. It's not just one-way communication. This is about really understanding who your market is and how you want to engage with them. I was never to know that the tattoo commentary would be so strong, right? So strong. And from that came the request from my target market. So be open, be aware, be authentic. And let's engage. Let's get if you've got a business or if you're in a career world, get out there and engage authentically, make some commentary, and let's make your business rock. So I hope you've taken something away from episode 138 of the Coach Curl podcast. As always, a big shout out to my team at Think and Grow Business. We're improving the performance of people in business with personal, professional and business growth programs. We also thank our team at our sponsor at Totally Builderall. It's an integrated digital marketing platform, landing pages, CRM, mailing list, you name it, it's got it. So go check that out at Totally Builderall. Sign up for your 7-day free trial and you will not regret that one little bit. Don't forget, I've written a book. It's called Seriously Simple Stuff to Get You Unstuck, and it's available wherever good books are sold online, and potentially also where pretty ordinary books are sold online as well. Or you can go to the author's page at tonycurl.com.au and you can purchase a signed paperback copy just for you. 20% of every book sold goes to support the great work being done by Carter's Cause here in Australia, helping kids born and the families of kids born with congenital heart disease. As per always, where you are standing stronger, braver and wiser. And don't ever forget the golden rule. Yes, you know what this is. Just don't be an arsehole. I'll see you next week. Bye for now.